we all have a poem. This one is called Life. The one tries to keep writing every day. I mean, some are going line by line while others are still trying to figure out the first words to spell. One with feet, or how you just stopped those to get one by a girl on the side of the street. How her poem started with the business along the lines of a poem's purpose, or how yours can start with whatever is your purpose. So one would ask, what is your poem about? Is it about those siblings who stopped to get one, about how they both broke the same arm on the same day? The lady who had been waiting to turn the age 26 on her 26th. The man who cried on the sidewalk because he had to send his baby girl off to the army that day. Were you the same man who came back with his daughter to give me a hug and say thank you? How she made it back home and she got a chance to read it. Maybe you were the first lady I wrote a poem for about her 20th anniversary. Or did you come back 2 years later speaking of how you got a divorce and stating how we should write this one and started with new poem with new beginnings? Are you the man who saw his brother drown at the age of 10 and said his would be about how God uses things to save people and tell of how one day a typewriter will save you? Is it about a man who doesn't know if he should pick his girlfriend up from rehab? Is it about a man who doesn't know if he has cancer, but he knows who can write his son a poem just in case he has to go? His 7-year-old son. The man who just misses someone. Is it about a blind girl who sees you in New York and you question if she can see me now? And she gets a poem about how she is your biggest fan. Is it the man who said, do not read his poem out loud about love because he will be saving it when he's under the moon with his? Is it about the lady who just...
Hi, Haley. What's your story?
My story is a girl who wants to be a poem, and I don't believe that was always the story. I don't believe that was always the poem. I don't believe that was always the words, but I did start writing it long ago.
Okay, so what keeps you excited about waking up each day and doing this amazing job?
What keeps me excited about like selling poems is honestly just knowing somebody needs one. Like if it's just one person, even if it was just me that needed the poem, that I still wrote it. And the fact that like things you won't even like think will matter. Like you'll just see a guy walking in the costume and the chicken suit, and like you'll just ask him, does he want a poem about the costume and the chicken suit, not knowing that him and his grandma for 30 years together walk around every Halloween with Christmas suits, and she dies the Halloween before then, and he just does it because he doesn't know what else to do on Halloween, and that's what he does. It's like little girl, me as a little girl walking in the district and always loving a picture, that graffiti on that one building of the little girl holding something in her hand. And Corona happens and you have to sell poems in front of PinMac because the guy says that no one comes out on your little street anymore. And the little girl gets a poem in the family with her dad and her mom, her little brother, and she jumps up for joy for that poem. And you're looking at the little girl on the building and the little girl trying to get her poem out of her dad's hand doing the same thing. And you realize that that was the poem. And it's like the little kids running around the whole place in a market saying, give my poem back, this is the most beautiful thing. It's like me when my friend had died and somebody comes and gets a poem about how about love, and that was the chorus song we sung in 10th grade, and that's like the only like year I like have with her like in my mind. And it's like the next day after you like that happens, it's about when my cousin got shot 2 times and the lady came up to me and just hugged me before I even started selling poems that day. And it was like she didn't even get a poem. It was my sister coming back to tell me that she saw a lady crying at my poem walking around in Pittsburgh, and she asked her why was she crying and trying to help her, and the fact that she said this little black girl, it's like it makes me get up because there's so many days when I need a poem and I couldn't dare give one to myself. And the fact that I can go give somebody to someone else and they find light, they don't want to go back to rehab, they just had like the best thing that ever happened to them, like the worst thing that ever happened to them. Like I've seen it all, like in the sense of words, like you have all the words and you just have to put them together. The fact that I could put together the words for somebody that they don't have is a beautiful thing. And I think as a person, I would have to hold myself to some type of grace to the fact that I wake up to this life and that I am the one who has the power to give that poem away and also keep that poem for myself. So yeah.
What does a day in your life as a poet look like?
A day in my life as a poet look like? It looks like Haley's alarm going off at 8 o'clock, or in the summertime, I'll like sew poems every day and like outside in the strip district. So I'll wake up, put all my stuff in my car, make sure to leave the paper behind because I never run out of words, just paper. And and I drive 30 minutes down to Pittsburgh, and yeah, I like get my stuff out of my car of now. Or like if they say like their topic, like for their like anything that's like any topic they could say, I'll put in them in there now, which the man had came back to me and like after his mom had passed away, and he was like, he will hold that so deeply because it was what they had in the now. And that's kind of like my life as a poet. I literally put the words of now into a poem for later. That's literally a day of my life as a poet, and tears and people crying and just like something no one even knew they even needed, and they come and get it, and like they don't know how they would even live without it. And that's kind of like how my life was. So it's like kind of like a day in my life too. Like it was also a day in theirs. So yeah.
How did you develop your skills?
I like develop my skills through like, honestly, it was pain and hurt. Like I could honestly say it was just like pain and like never being able to say what I wanted to say. So back when I was like for my dad, like breaking my heart, like him just like not being like a good father, like, and like me looking at him as a hero and like knowing he wrote poems too. I would like try to like write him letters. Like I wrote him letters when I was like 8. Then I would like write him to when I was like 9. Then I write him when I was 10, 11, and 12. And I would send him to his house because like my parents were divorced. But I would never be able to say those things out my mouth. And I would write them in cursive to make it look like I was like older and like just to be able to express myself. And like I never understood like why like I just like wouldn't tell him. But it was like also I was like a child, staying like a child's place and that kind of thing. But like now as I get older, I realize that that's kind of like where my writing came from. And like, just to be able to like tell somebody what needs to be heard was like a big thing for me. So like when I developed my skills, I would like write from a place where nobody knew. So like I would write from a place where it was like almost kind of like hidden and almost kind of like hurting, like in the sense of, it was like who I really was and what I really wanted from just as of there, like as of everywhere I was, like I would write from a place of that state. And I would like always be like in like the poem. Like I would like when I would like read other writers, like I could like mimic what they like wrote and I'll write my own poem to it. But like me being able to express who I am and be able to even let alone express what you feel in the poem, it's because like I have felt most of the things people feel in like their poems, like the empathy and like the compassion and like how like some people's hearts are not as big as yours and some things don't go as planned and some things are not going to be your life and like what ifs and what was, and it is what it is. Like I write from a is what it is kind of standpoint, that this is the poem you have and what poem will you write. And that's kind of how I developed my skills of who I wanted to be. And I also like far back when I was like in 9th grade, it was like Cat Hat that. Then I had Erin Hansen. I heard her. Then I started writing poems around like 13. Like some days I walk, others I run, I get back up, have seen the sun, and like kind of poems like that. And then I met Noor, which I met her before I went off to Alabama, and I wrote her a poem. No, I didn't. I met Noor when I came back from Alabama. yeah, I met Nora when I came back from Alabama at the North Blockway Northway from the I Made It markets. Shout out to Carrie, real one. And yeah, she runs the markets. So her dad sells Mediterranean food at the market. So I always would go up to her dad and get pizzas from him. And he would just like, just give me pizzas. Like he'll give me 2 for $5 or like something like that. Or even like give them away to me. He would just like give me pizzas all the time. And then she would like always walk past me and like I always see her. And she has a condition of her eyes, so she like really couldn't see me that much. But yeah, and she would hear the typewriter like from me like clicking for other people's poems and stuff. And yeah, so finally I like stopped her one day and I asked her, did she like want a poem? She was like walking by. I was like, would you like a poem today? And then I said what shirt she had on. I think it was a white shirt. And I said, and she said, yeah. She was super excited. I'll never forget it. And that was about 4 years ago. And then yeah, so that day, and we like, she like, I wrote it about like, just like, she was like, just telling me about her life and stuff, and like, just like, then like how she like, just being her. And like, it felt so personalized. I was like, please just tell me more about me. Like, and it was just like, so like, it was like a moment in my life where I like, kind of like saw like what I was doing and who I was doing it for. And like, why is this like something that's good? And basically, like, and I wrote her a poem. She just said, I'm your #1 fan. And she just like cried like a little bit, and like, and she just kept on saying like she's my #1 fan. And then like I would like write her poems like every time I would go down there and stuff. So every time we would be there, I like write her a poem and stuff, kind of like that. And then like each summer, like would come back around, we'd be like closer, like I don't know. Yeah, so for 2 summers went by, we were just like in the poems, and like she just made sure like when I left until like make sure I'll be back for like that next summer. I don't know how we became like good friends and stuff. So like, and then all of a sudden we were just best friends, and it's just like I wrote Nora poems when she asked me to send her a poem every week, and she gave me her number to send her a poem every week. That's why. So I send her poems every week on a Monday or Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. So every week I send the poems that Nora knows. But yeah, so that's kind of like how like I like how Nora like became like such a big deal in my life. It was just like her just saving my life. Like just and the thing is like who has a #1 fan? Like I never had a #1 fan. And like the fact that somebody also cared about your dreams, somebody also cared about what you do, somebody also listens to you, or even just sees you, even if just sees you, like for the first time in my life, someone had seen me and cared that I was trying my best, like in the fact of that what I was doing was actually worth doing, and like that I like make her cry, like in the sense of like that, like, and that's just like how like I just don't even know how to explain it. It's like I spend my life trying to repay her back for like saving my life. Like I don't even know like if I ever could, like, and I try to tell her all the time, like, and I'm so serious about it. And like this little girl single-handedly like saved my life just being who she is, and just like getting poems like just telling me like that I am like something great, that I am somebody, like that I am like something to believe in, even like when I didn't even believe in myself. So that was like a miracle in human form that walks around, and I call her Noor. That's that I know, and that's my biggest fan. And that's kind of like, and that's kind of like how like me and Noor, like yeah, just like best friends, and like yeah, and I guess like it was like mostly just like, I think it was just like I think it was like each, like us just being at the market, like just like having those moments, like just like fun, and like just being there, and like her asking me how many poems I sold today, like kind of built the relationship to be where it's like at it now. Like I just go like pick up Nora, like we just drive around, like you know, like sing and stuff. Like I just like I really do like what, like in the sense of I love Nora. Like I don't know how to tell you guys, like I just love Nora. Like I wrote a book about her, like, and like every summer, like I would like promise her a book, and then like for like it was like she had came to me and cried, like, and it was like that's like how like we just walk around the market, like after the market, it takes her dad like an hour or 30 minutes to like clean up. So I would just stay after the market after I sell poems with her. We'd just sit there and like talk get like coffee. We'll make sure we get our coffee before, and then I got my own drink on the coffee truck, which we always go to all the time, which was cool. Then I made them put Nora's drink on the truck, and like we have our own drink on like the truck. It's just like little moments like that. Like I didn't know I was I didn't have anybody. Like I had my family and whatnot, but I literally had nobody but myself. Like I'm like I never really loved. Like I had love, but I never really thought love was ever going to come to me, or there would be anybody I even like cared to love, like, or like just like how love is, like, you know what I mean? Like I never seen what love was. It doesn't have to be anything, like it's just the fact that somebody loves you enough to know what's good and bad. And that's like what I think of, like a little 12-year-old girl coming to you telling you like you deserve these things and like you're going to be all these things. Like who would have known? Like, and it just makes my heart, like every time I think about her, it just makes my heart happy, because like you saw me, like, and to think somebody sees you, and then like them being like her being like blind, which is such like America's greatest tragedy, I think, and the fact that she's not, and just like I was so blind. The fact that I didn't see myself in Amazon, like I didn't see myself having my own show. I didn't see myself ever being in any event or anywhere other than like a corner or something. Like I didn't ever, like I saw myself, but I just could never get to the fact that I could be there. So here's the Nora. And that's kind of like where the story is now, and just making Nora dreams come true. And the fact that I won't ever get into Harvard, but me suffering in high school, like I got Nora tells me how I get her through high school, and like she has a 1800 on her SAT, like I could never. But it's like who I was in my life and my poems I had to write were also for somebody else. And me being who I am, and like me just simply trying to be proud of who I am. Like when I tell people I was sad, I was sad. And when I tell people like I was like on drugs, like I was literally like, how could I say this? I used to like save, like I literally used to have overdose moments. Like I had days where I like tell myself like this is the day. Like I had nothing else on my mind but to die. And now I have nothing on my mind but how the fuck am I going to live? How the fuck am I going to write this poem for a little girl who deserves it, who saved my life single-handedly? So that's where I am now in life. And I have newspaper articles, I have magazines, I have my own show, I have like my own little street, honestly. And I have like my own life now that I can call mine, that I've written for myself. But that's kind of like my story and like who I am now.
That's awesome. What are some of your future plans?
My future plans are to make Noor happy. That's my future plans. To make to not be on like a corner for forever, and to be all that I know I'm gonna be. Like in my last video, we did like a little video. These people did a video on me like when I was in the strip district, and I had said, my first poem I ever heard was, I am a nobody, who are you? Are you a nobody too? I don't even care to be a nobody anymore. I don't even care to be somebody. I care to be Haley. Like, I want to be everything, every word, every sentence, every paragraph, every phrase, every letter, every notebook, every book. I want every word of my life to come true. I want me and Noor to, I want us to be living, like, we are gonna live. Like, that's what I know is gonna happen. That's my future plans. But most importantly is just to keep writing each word day by day and hope that, not even hope, know that it's possible, that I won't be on the corner for forever, that I'm not, that I go to events now, that people know me. Like, I got a book on like Amazon and stuff like that. Like the little things I do have got me this far. And the little things I will do will get me that far. And the big thing will be that I wrote this poem and that nobody helped, nobody nobody was like, nobody was me sitting on the side of the corner. Like, nobody was me sitting on the corner trying to give a poem. I don't care who else sells a poem on the side of the street. That was Haley Clancey out there selling those poems. And when people look back at like all the articles and like all the, when I get up there, because I am, y'all, I really am gonna get up there. It's already, it's already like in the stars or whatever the lady had said. But I just want people to know that I'm a humbled and I'm always misunderstood. Like, I always be misunderstood. Like, even like out in the corner, people think I'm just free and happy and all these things. It's like, no, I have a gift that needs to be gived, like in the sense of, and that's kind of how my future goals is to know, and people know that it was me. Like, I had people crying. Like, I really was out there since I was 17, literally changing people's lives single-handedly with the typewriter and poems in 3 minutes about whatever they said. Like, it was Haley Clancey with the poetry sitting on Penn Ave. Like, it really was her. Like, and it really will change people's lives to know that you can be. I literally I had a typewriter and a piece of paper, and that has got me here. It's not far, but it has got me here. And I wouldn't be any more grateful for that. And that is my future, to know that my poem has got me to this poem. So yeah.